The story is about a group of friends who cause a deadly car accident and try to cover it up, keeping it a secret only among themselves. A year later, their past comes back to haunt them as someone knows what they did last summer. The villain wears a dark raincoat to keep the identity hidden. The weapon of choice is a fish hook, and they begin targeting the group one by one. As expected, the mystery of who the killer is remains central, and the killer makes their intentions clear by sending a note. There are typical slasher scares such as stalking, build-ups, and brutal kills. Some of the deaths aren't shown fully, but the aftermath is gory and shocking enough. There are even flashbacks that pop up out of nowhere. While the scares didn't disappoint, I personally felt the atmosphere wasn't as strong as the 1997 film. That sense of dread the original had just isn't quite there. Nothing stood out for me in terms of sound design. In fact, most of the time when a kill is about to happen, it goes completely silent with no music, just waiting for the moment. It didn't add much tension for me. One particular kill bugged me. You hear the sound of someone getting stabbed, but when they show the aftermath, the victim's shirt is completely intact. That took me out of it a little. This serves as the sequel, and the town of Southport is now a tourist attraction. The events that happened 30 years ago are mentioned, and some original characters return. There are also Easter eggs and scenes that clearly reference or are inspired by the original. The throwbacks are fun for fans, and the returning characters bring some nostalgia. But the film tries to mix both nostalgia and new ideas, and the result feels a bit mixed. The film takes its time introducing the new characters and slowly builds up the mystery of who is the killer. The killer always seemed one step ahead. The reveal and twists didn't disappoint, and while the body count rises, it gets easier to guess who the killer is. It's not that shocking, but there are enough turns to keep things going. The new group of teens feels like a repeat of the original setup, making the same mistake the original cast did decades ago. But compared to the previous film, the emotional weight and guilt the characters feel is noticeably lacking. The friendships, the dynamics, and the promise to never speak of the accident just don't hit as hard here. It's full of hot casts with romances, but the characters feel thin. Still watchable, but not very memorable. Their detective work and attempts to figure out the killer feel drawn out, especially for a movie that runs nearly 2 hours. The core idea is still the same: a tragic accident, a group of teens covering it up, and a killer out for revenge. It leaves room for a sequel, but overall, it's a mix of nostalgia and new elements that doesn't fully land. The result is just a typical slasher which is watchable, but nothing special.